Hey, it's Jess, and this is the Modern Hippie Podcast. Every week, we bring you an episode to help you along your self-development journey. So if you are looking to step past your limiting beliefs, discover just how amazing you truly are, and build your dream life, then hit that subscribe button and let's get to it. Welcome back to the Modern Hippie Podcast. We are on episode 37. Today, we have a familiar guest on the podcast. Crystal Dawn is going to be doing a tarot card reading for us. I've asked her a personal question and a global question, and it gets pretty intense. Since this episode is longer, I've put timestamps in the description box so you can jump to the section you're most interested in. All right, I hope you enjoy. Be sure to come visit me after on Instagram at Jessica Rose Wellness Co. to carry on the conversation. And with that, let's go to the episode. Welcome back, Crystal, to the Modern Hippie Podcast. As some of you likely remember, I have had Crystal on here several times now. She's like my go-to girl. We just have such a great time talking. I have to keep having you back.
Oh, thank you so much. I always enjoy being on your podcast. It's a fun time.
Good. I'm glad that you enjoy it, and I'm glad you always say yes. So today we are actually going to have some fun, and we're going to do a tarot reading, or Crystal is going to do a tarot reading for me personally, just like a question. And then also we're going to do one on a more global level as well. And we just thought that, like so much serious stuff is happening right now. Let's just have a little bit of fun and see also if we can just get some messages, get some good vibes going. And yeah, my very first question for you, Crystal, is how do you actually view tarot? Like, do you see it as, just kind of like a tool that like sheds light on like different areas that maybe you can like improve your life or whatever? Or do you see it as like being really serious? Or what is your view on it?
I see it as a little bit of both. When I started 2 months ago, I did my first reading on one of my friends, and I didn't even know the question that they asked. They kind of kept it to themselves because there's different ways of doing readings. But when I was turning over the cards, they were like, oh my gosh, this like reflects directly to my life. So I think it like shed some kind of inner light onto certain situations, and even personal situations that we go through. I think it kind of helps us formulate like what we should do next, because I know every day I pull a card, I set my intention, I go into like, how am I living out of alignment, or what do I need to let go of today to have a good day. And most of the time when I pull a card and I get the message, I'm able to kind of sit and reflect on it for a little bit and realize where that card is coming from. It might not be like right there in your face at the time. Like you might not know exactly how it's going to relate to your life, but in some way I feel like it does at one point. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be next week. It's just, I think it really helps you get a better understanding of yourself, and you kind of connect with a different viewpoint. Like you're able to just kind of step in and embrace the experience of it, and it sheds a little bit of light that maybe you didn't see before. So I kind of enjoy the mystery of it. Like I never know what card I'm gonna get. I never know. Unless I'm asking like a very specific question, like if I'm asking something about a relationship or about my coaching or something like that, then, I feel like I'll get somewhat of an answer. It definitely won't give me the correct answer, but it'll help me guide myself to the answer that I need.
Right. Like it won't give you like this is what you need to do right now. It's more of
Yeah.
like just something to guide you and right?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it kind of puts you on the path to thinking about it so you formulate your own decision at the end of it. Like you might not come to the decision right then and there. Like I know I've asked a question and I'm like, do I go this way? Do I go that way? And the cards were just kind of like telling me little things about my situation, but not really telling me what the best direction was. It was really up to me to kind of, after a reading, sit there and ruminate on it and reflect on it and go, okay, so this card said this card said that. But ultimately, it really is up to me. The cards just kind of give you a little bit more insight into which direction you might go and which direction you might not go.
Right. Like they put you in touch with your intuition so that you're better able to like make those decisions.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. How do you normally prepare for your readings? Because I think there's like a little ritual, right?
A little bit. So for me personally, I start with sage. I, sage my tarot mat, my tarot setup and everything like that. I make sure that I sage myself before I do it too. So I cleanse whatever negative energy that could affect my reading. And then I light an incense and, I kind of meditate a little bit before I go into reading it. I write my question down. I make sure I lay out all my crystals and, I have my nice little setup and, I go through it and I kind of connect with my cards. Like before I start asking a question, I'll hold on to them and kind of meditate with them just to stay connected to them. And then that's when I'll do a reading.
That's really cool. I like that. And it sounds like a really nice yeah, I guess like a ritual, right? Like it just gets you kind of set up and in the right mindset and yeah, it seems nice. So how often do you do this?
Yeah, it's so I typically try to do a personal reading for myself every week. Preferably on the weekends because I have a little bit more time to reflect on it and I don't have to worry about work or other distractions kind of impeding on my reading time. But I'll do it once a week and I pull a card every morning and I set my intention and it's really helped me become a better person. It's a nice routine to have every morning too.
That's amazing.
I start my morning, I drink my green smoothie, I pull my card, I set my intention, and then I go to work.
That sounds so nice. Like a great morning routine. So you said that it's made you a better person. How do you feel? Can you share like any changes that you've like experienced or like what do you mean by that? If you want to share.
Oh, yeah, of course. So I think that it's helped me become a better person because it's really helped me understand my energy and how my energy really does affect other things in my life. Like if I'm having a bad day, I will not, like if I start off my morning bad, I will not do a reading right away because I know that the cards will reflect that bad energy. And that's not something I want to go into in a reading with a negative, bad energy or a bad aura. So I'll wait a couple hours, if I need to relax. And it really just does help you. I mean, I feel like when I have a situation or a question that I'm really in dire need of knowing what to do, I do a reading and it's just like the cards kind of tell me how to think about it better. Like it helps you kind of do the pros and cons of it a little bit better because the cards will sometimes tell you like, hey, this might not be the best thing to do right now. But then another card might tell you to follow your intuition or something like that. And then you're like, well, come on, cards. What should I do? But it's ultimately, it helps you become a better decision maker and to live your life in alignment with your beliefs and your values.
I love that answer. That's fantastic. And I'm so glad that you've seen like that kind of change in your life from it. It really like inspires me to do it myself. Actually, I will say right before this call, I definitely just ordered a tarot deck.
Awesome. It's really fun. Honestly, it's something I've been wanting to get into for a very long time, but there's so much bad press about tarot cards that like it's like the devil, you're a witch, you're all this stuff. But after really researching into tarot and getting my own cards, like it's been such a pleasant activity to incorporate in my life. I really started to get into other things like crystals, spell candles, and then started getting into like, actual spell work. I'm just starting out on that, so I'm not great, but it's just been an incredible journey. Honestly, it's such a beautiful art, and it really does help you connect better with yourself.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So now I'm wondering more about like practical tips for I mean really just like how you do it, but for listeners or myself who hasn't really done it before, like how do you, and this might seem like a ridiculous question, but how do you actually like shuffle your deck? Like do you shuffle it like you would like a playing deck of cards, or do you like mix them up on the table? Because like there's a difference between them being upright and upside down or something.
Yeah, there is. When you first get your deck, it's kind of like they're all facing the right way. Like there's no reverse, no nothing, which is when you actually start to, cut the deck, flip it. So for me, what I always do is I take it like this. I'm sorry, like this. And then I flip this and
Okay.
I'll shuffle them like a regular deck. But as I'm shuffling, I ask my question and I do like breathing techniques while I do it, making sure that I'm staying very connected to my cards and what they have to say.
That's awesome. Okay, so for the audio, because they're not gonna see the video part, you had one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You had one upright, and then you flipped one upside down. Is that right? And then you shuffled it that way. So
Yes.
some of them were upside down, some of them were upright. Perfect. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good to know. So and then you actually cut the deck. So like you split it into, I think I heard something about like splitting it into like 3 or something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
You split it into 3. So I do the end of the deck, the middle of the deck, and the beginning of the deck. And I split it into 3. And I do 3 different shuffles. When I first, like if I'm doing a reading, this is how I would do it, is
Okay.
I do 3 different shuffling. So I'll take the back of the deck first, and I'll shuffle that into the deck, and then I'll take the middle and I will shuffle that back in, and then I'll do the beginning. And that's how I do my readings. But if I'm just pulling a card in the morning, I'll just split it in the middle and reverse the deck and just pull a card that way, just because I won't know what it is.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, cool. Okay. There's cards that can be upright and upside down. What is the different meaning of that?
Each card is gonna have a different meaning, depending on what card. So I'm just gonna pick one at random. I'm gonna pick one of the major arcana cards, which is the I'm gonna pick the Fool. So if it's not inverted reverse, basically this one means it's a young person embarking on a life's journey. It indicates a willingness to leap into the unknown and start anew. And if it was reversed, it would mean that energy is at a low. You are unable to make a balanced decision or move forward. So typically, the reverse of what you're going to get with the message from each card. Sometimes it can be a little daunting though. For me, when I look at it, like I've asked questions about my career and things like that. And like if I've gotten it in reverse and it's like, this is a bad time for you to make this kind of decision, rethink what you should do. I look at it and go, okay, so what I was thinking was probably the right thing to do, probably isn't the right thing to do right now. Or like I'll go back and look at it and see, like, why isn't this a good idea? And typically once you go back and you reflect on it, you start to see where it's out of alignment in your life, like where it aligns with your life. I'm sorry. So it's a nice way. I kind of like when things are reversed, because when you get those reverse cards and you have a few that aren't reversed, you start to understand the situation from a pros and cons situation. Like I've never gotten a reading that's just like, here's the way. It's like an arrow pointing. Here's the way. Take this decision. I never get that. I get a very pros and cons kind of view. And then I like that fact because the cards aren't really telling me what to do. They're more telling me what would happen if I went either way. And ultimately leading me, the holder of the cards, to really decide what's best for me in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what I really love about that is it's something like it's a very, I mean, you're talking about pros and cons, and that's very logical. But tarot, like for at least me personally, I see it more as a spiritual thing, right? And so I really like the combination, of the two coming together, the spiritual meeting the logical, and making your decision from there. I really like that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I've loved that too.
Yeah. So you mentioned the major arcana, and I'm wondering if you can just like briefly tell us the difference, because there's major arcana and minor arcana. Can you just tell us what they mean?
Yeah. Major arcanas are basically going to be like the stages of life. They're a little bit more broader, and they're usually about the stages of life, like love, your change, your spirituality. These are just, they kind of depict like your life circle. So they'll tell you like where you're at in your life's journey, which is nice to have that kind of reflection. So those cards are going to be like the Fool, the Lovers. I told you there's like the Devil card, the Empress. These really just kind of suggest where you're at in your life. And then the minor arcana cards are the four suits of a playing deck, basically, except for they're different. There's swords, there's rods, there's pentacles, and there's cups. At least in my deck, there is. From what I've read about the Art of Tarot is that there's different decks have different meanings for the four, different names for them. So not all of them are all going to be the same, but for mine, it's rods, swords, cups, and pentacles. And these are 56 cards. They basically are like your playing deck. These are about like your everyday situations. So it's material concerns, relationships. They kind of tell you a little bit more in detail about what's going on in your life. So if you get these kind of cards in your reading, it definitely is relating to something that is going on, going to happen, or maybe something from your past that you haven't really dealt with. So this represents our lives, like truly what's going on in our lives.
Like it's very
like
specific. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Oh my goodness. Okay, you're getting me so excited right now. I wish that my deck came. I think I'm supposed to be getting it tomorrow. Thank God for Amazon Prime.
Oh God. Yeah, I know, right? Amazon's kind of been like the leader in everything right now. I don't know what I would do without Amazon or Etsy. Like seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
So bad.
Do you kind of always like turn to it when you're facing a challenge? Or is it more just like if you're really uncertain about something?
I like to I really like to turn to it when I'm facing a challenge. When I have a situation that's going on, or, something that pops in my head, I feel like, okay, I've thought about it, I wrote it down, but I kind of want to see what the cards have to say. And they're like, I will do a spread, and the cards will, like I said, sometimes it'll tell me the good about the situation, it'll tell me the bad about the situation. And then after that, I kind of meditate and reflect on it. So I don't know. It really does help you kind of get a better understanding of making decisions and get in touch with your spirituality better too. Also, you as a person, because there's so many things like you can say out loud or you can think, but there's certain things that you probably won't see. And I feel like the cards kind of bring that part of me that I can't see or I'm not looking about or ignoring. And then it really helps me get a little better insight into how I should handle the situation or the person in my life or whatever really I asked about at the time. So I really feel like it's been a nice tool to have to really help me understand myself better.
That's amazing. I'm a fan of anything that gives us more self-awareness.
Exactly. It definitely makes you more self-aware. It's just, I can't really explain it. Sometimes I get so emotional when I do a reading. I notice like my hands will shake when I do it because I'm so connected with my cards now that just I have such an emotional bond with them, and it can be overwhelming at times. So I really enjoy that, like that spiritual moment you have when you flip a card or when you're doing a spread and you're about to flip over a card. Like my hands get all clammy and shaky, and I'm like, oh my God, like I really have created this spiritual bond with these cards. And I never would have thought I would have that kind of experience, but it's overwhelming in such a good, powerful way.
Well, that is absolutely amazing. And I am really excited to do this reading and to have you just share with me, share with us whatever comes to you. So how do we do this? We're going to move into like the reading part. How do we do this?
Okay. So I have the question. Do you want to do your personal first, or do you want to do the global one first?
Let's start with my personal.
Okay. So I have your question, and now we're going to break the deck away. Technically, I would have you, like if you were in front of me, tap the deck, but that's not going to work, obviously. So I'm just going to repeat the question while I get these aligned.
Okay.
And then we're going to lay out the cards and we're going to see what they say.
Okay, perfect. Can I say my question out loud?
Good.
Okay. So my question that Crystal is currently meditating on is I'm asking for a message, or if there's a message that I need to hear right now.
Okay. So your first card is going to be your past. And just so everyone who's listening knows what kind of spread I did the 7 card, or you can call it the horseshoe spread. And now we are going to start off with your first card, which is going to be your past. Okay?
Okay.
So we have a 6 of swords. This is weird, actually. I got this card earlier when I pulled it this morning.
Okay.
So it's obviously got to be something in the atmosphere. What's going on?
Yeah.
So, okay. So this one is, it's not reversed. So the meaning for this one is someone is going to cut you some slack soon. Relief will come after a struggle, and you may be taking a sea voyage. That is not really true, though. I don't think you're taking a sea voyage. But basically what this means is that someone's going to kind of give you a little bit more relief in your life, and that something that's causing you stress is going to slowly subside, and you're going to get some much needed de-stress from it, and if someone is causing you that stress, they're going to back off of it. So that's the interpretation.
That be stress from my past then, or like if there's somebody specifically, like it would be somebody from my past? Is that how that relates to the past like spot there?
So how I look at the past card, it doesn't always mean like your very, very past. It could be like yesterday's past for a reading is how I see it. So it could be maybe there's some stress going on in your life at work or something else that you're dealing with. It doesn't have to be like your very, very past, but it could be like yesterday, a few hours ago, something of that sort. The thing about the cards is you really have to kind of create your own interpretation a little bit from it. So you really have to read into it. And even though this is a past card from the spread, you really kind of have to look at it as the past could be 5 minutes ago. It could be earlier in the day. It could be last week. It could be yesterday. But it's for you to look at everything that's going on in your life and see how that could possibly be incorporated into the situation or person that you're dealing with in life.
Okay, amazing. I like it.
So we're on to the present.
Okay.
All right. We have an Ace of Rods. It's not reversed, so that's good. Basically, Ace of Rods is a really good card. Everything is springing to life in this card. So if you can, if you have a deck or if you don't, here's what's depicted. I should have probably said what was depicted on the Six of Swords, and I didn't. Yeah.
That's okay.
So the Ace of Rods, it's like flowers just blooming all over the cards, and this is energy abounds. It could signify a beginning of an exciting new enterprise, career, or course of study. And that could mean, that could mean exactly that you're on the right track for what you're doing. And Jess, I do know that you are working towards a little bit of a new career path and enterprise. So
literally just started my course on Monday.
And there you go. See, the cards just told you that you're on the right track, basically. That's your present. So I love when that moment happens, especially when you pull a present card and it like perfectly aligns with how you are right now. It's like, I'm doing something right. Yay!
Yes.
Or like it makes you happy because it's like, okay, the cards are telling me that what I'm doing in my present is exactly where I need to be. And I love when that moment
Amazing.
happens. So, kudos to you.
Yay.
Okay. So we'll move on to the third one, which is what is helping. And this is going to be one of those major arcana cards, okay?
Okay.
And that's one of like the ones that have to do with like your spiritual journey, and it's a little bit more of a broad card. But you got the Magician. So let's see. This one's not reversed. It is a man who is wielding either a sword or something in the air, and
would it be a wand because it's a magician?
Yeah, it's a wand. I'm a ding. I don't know why it's like I was looking at the sword one and I was like, oh, that could possibly be a sword, but no. Okay. So the Magician is ruled by Mercury, and it's the messenger of gods. It's as you said, it's a strong man, lifts a wand while tools of magic practice are set before him. And this signifies a channeling of life force from above to below. So it's a deeply masculine card, suggests powerful energy. And this is the ability to summon new ideas. Does that resonate with you right now? As in, this is what's helping.
Yeah, for what's helping, yes, because I feel like that really relates to my present card. Like it's, yes, I like this.
Okay, so we are on to the fourth card, which is obstacles to overcome.
Okay.
Now,
I'm ready.
this is it's the Eight of Cups, and it's reversed. So we're going to see what's going on. The Eight of Cups reverse. Projects are completed. You will reap the benefits of your diligence. Expect a party or festive event. Interesting.
So this will be opposite.
Yes, this is obstacles to overcome. So basically, you will complete things. This actually isn't a bad reverse card. So that's not bad at all, because when it's not reversed, it's don't turn your back on success. You may be leaving it's don't walk away from a situation just because before it's completed. Yours is it's completed, you will reap the rewards and rewards of your diligence. So that's obstacles to overcome, but it's not necessarily a bad thing.
The obstacle to overcome, because it said social events, and I'm currently in lockdown, as is the rest of the world. So the obstacle to overcome is COVID.
There you go. See, sometimes you have to think outside the box with your cards. I know it's crazy how when you do a reading, you kind of looked for like specific details and kind of signs when you do it. The more I've done this, the more that I realize that not everything is black and white. A lot of things are going to be in gray, different colors, and you really just kind of have to sit there and go, okay, where could this possibly mean? It doesn't always mean that you're going to go to a party or a festivity or something like that, but it could mean just a social event, like you said, COVID-19. We are all dealing with it. So that is the overcome right there, because we all know during this lockdown, a lot of us have had different mindset changes. Our routines have changed. Our everyday life has been affected by COVID-19. So kudos to you for thinking outside of the box and not just thinking, okay, cool, party's gonna happen. Maybe not, but it's definitely, like you said, we are all being affected by it. That's probably the overcome, because I know for me in my own coaching, I've become kind of like, okay, I'm focused, but at the same time, I had to reinvent myself a little bit more to stay aligned with my values and my beliefs. So I think that that is a great interpretation of how you should read into that card.
Yeah, I have definitely had a lot of challenges come along with COVID. So I am on board with this.
We are on to number 5, which is the attitudes of others. We've got a King of Rods card. And just so everyone knows, I should have probably done this. The Eight of Cups was just 8 of Cups, basically, but they were upside down. But King of Rods is a king of rods, as depicted with the lion rampant at his back. And he has the strength to back up his ideas and visions. Self-starter, can rarely sit still. Honest and dependable, a natural leader and man of action or woman of action. But these are very masculine cards sometimes. So, and that's the attitudes of others. Maybe that they're seeing you as a leader during this time, and they're really connecting with your message and looking for you for guidance and inspiration.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, you're getting a great reading right now. These are really like the energy that I'm feeling off these cards. It's such a positive energy. And I think it's like we really went into it with a nice aura and energy. So I'm loving this right now. This is probably one of my favorite readings I've ever done.
I'm also loving this right now.
And we are on to number 6, what the questioner should do. We have a 5 of rods. We're sticking with the rods, so it's not bad. And this one's not reversed either. Leadership is absent from this competition. Forces can be rallied. The struggle will prove fruitful. Suggest labor unions or political organizations. Now, doesn't always mean the same thing. This is the what the questioner should do. So let's say this all goes back to you being a leader, and maybe this suggests different different opportunities for you to lead. I know a lot of people are in the coaching industry are, creating free Facebook groups or, connecting more with their audience. Like I said, this could mean that. It's just really up to you. How do you feel about this card? Where do you think this aligns with your life right now?
Okay, so I'm taking it to mean that I need to step up more. Yeah, and like you said, like you mentioned the Facebook group, just kind of in general, maybe just create more opportunities to step into that leader role.
There you go. See? This is, like I said, this is probably one of my favorite readings that I've done. It's just so much good energy coming off of it. And now we have your last card. It's the outcome. Okay.
I'm super excited.
We have the moon.
I love the moon.
That's one of those major arcana cards, so it's a little bit more of a broad interpretation. This one is reversed. It's not bad. It's okay. Deceptions are unmasked. Small mistakes can be corrected. From me, what I think is that, we all make mistakes. And especially with, you starting the coaching venture and everything like that, mistakes are going to happen. Yeah. But you can't let them get to you. It's all a growing experience when you do start coaching. I mean, as much as they try to lead you down every step and try to make it this very rigid instruction, when you're coach, you take it, but you also apply it in your own way. So for me, I used to beat myself up all the time with the mistakes that I made, all the time. Like, just shut down, I'm done. But really, it's just every mistake makes you stronger. It makes you wiser. It makes you connect with people better, because they get to see you be human at times and see that everything is not black and white. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to do the wrong link. You're going to post something that maybe doesn't, get to where you need to be. So for me, I look at it as kind of telling you that mistakes are okay. They help us grow. They make us into a better person. And they just ultimately help us become wiser and stronger.
Okay. Whoa, that just, okay, no, seriously, it was like a couple of days ago, it was at least within like the last week, I had like a revelation that I do not need to be perfect, and I've been having a lot come up around that, so wow.
It's crazy. Like, see, like this reading right here, what I get from the beginning to the end is that everything that you are doing right now, the point that you are at, you are exactly where you need to be, and you are growing even more down this journey. So these cards really reflect that the decisions you've made have aligned perfectly with your values, your beliefs, your future, your goals. And this is a strong reading that basically tells you, you are on the right path, darling. And also forgive yourself when you make a mistake, because it's only going to make you a better and stronger person, coach, whatever you want to be. But this is a great reading, and I'm glad it reflects so much to where you're at in your life and what you're doing. This is one of those times in a reading where you go, the cards really do understand the person who asks the question. And that is always a fun reading to do. I love when that happens.
That was absolutely amazing. And I'm so blown away, because I'm not even in the same room as you. Like, how? That was so cool.
I feel like when you create a deep bond with your cards, and they always tell you, I know when I first started, I went on every every website I could. I connected with other people who were doing readings on Instagram, and I learned that the more, like, when you pull a card every day, you create a very spiritual and emotional bond with your card. So when you do a reading, it's like it all comes together. And that's why I said sometimes my hands get super jittery when I'm doing it, because it's such a powerful energy coming off the cards. And this spread right now, this is an amazing positive energy. And not only do cards reflect the questioner, but it also reflects the reader. So we are both on the same page of what we should be doing. And this is a beautiful spread. And I am so happy you asked this question and you got these cards, because it is beyond powerful, and it's such a beautiful aura coming off of it.
I am so happy right now. Like, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I love this. This is beautiful. And honestly, it was perfect. I think it really did a great job for you. And I hope that it helps you stay connected to what you're doing and gives you that kind of, recognition and, reward to let you know, like, hey, what you're doing is exactly what you should be doing. And, follow your dreams, follow your goals, do whatever is going to make you happy, as long as it stays aligned with your values and beliefs. And I've known you for a little bit now, and I know that you are definitely on that path. So that spread was perfect.
So amazing. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, I am like pumped to do the second question now. Woo. So the second question, we're going global here.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to ask the same question. So what message does the world need to hear right now?
All right, we are ready.
Okay.
Whew. Now this one scares me.
Oh boy. Okay.
Not in a bad way. It's just anytime you're asking about the world, I feel like it could get kind of I don't know. We're gonna see.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
Okay. So the first card in the spread is always gonna be your past. So we have the Tower. It's not reversed, and it's a tower. So the description of the card is it's ruled by Mars, the Roman god of war. Lightning strikes the tower, and a golden crown crashes to the earth, leaving the way open to complete change. The tower is a card of radical transformation. A partnership may suddenly dissolve. Check the structure of your home. This is the past. As we can see what's happening in the world right now, our home has been suddenly dissolved. We are going through an interesting time. This definitely depicts about what's going on right now. And it's an interesting time to be here. So
yeah, that card is like spot on.
That is super spot on. I was not expecting that, but you never know what's here. It's just and like I said, sometimes when you do readings, you get so overwhelmed. This is one of those moments where I might get a little overwhelmed, because it is a very powerful aura and energy coming off of it. But let's go into the next one, the present. Okay, we have the present as 9 swords, and it's not reversed. So the present, losing sleep, having the feeling that something's hanging over your head. This is the darkest hour before the dawn. Action is the antidote to worry. As we can see with what's going on, this is perfect, because we are living in that world. A lot of people are losing sleep. This is a dark hour for a lot of people. We had to make a lot of changes to our life. A lot of luxuries and our everyday activities have been extremely affected by COVID-19. So this is definitely a card
Oh my God.
that yeah, it's crazy.
It is.
But yeah, this is our darkest hour so far.
Wow. Okay.
The third card is what is helping. So let's see what's helping us right now. And it is a reverse card. It is the Knight of Rods. So reversed. So this is what's helping us right now. You lack focus and change course in midstream, often departing quickly. You're quick to anger and tend to pick fights with people around you. This is exactly what's going on, though. They're changing things way too quickly, trying to get back to everyday life, yet we have no idea what exactly is going on, and we're not really sure if it's, getting to an end point, but our world leaders are, are making decisions a little too hastily. So I think this is a perfect card, and it's not always about what's helping, but it's also about what's happening. So I think that this is a great thing. I don't think that this is necessarily something that could be helping us at this time, but it's exactly about what's going on. Like people are starting to open things. I know with us here, restaurants just started opening, parks and things like that started opening about a week ago, and our cases have skyrocketed. So this kind of works perfectly to what's going on. I think there's some hasty decisions being made, and we're gonna see what else the cards have to say.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Wow. Okay. It's super relevant. Super relevant.
Oh yeah. I figured these cards are gonna be pretty relevant. The amount of energy that's coming off of them is just like, oh my God. Like each card I'm like scared to pull, but I'm excited to see what's going on, what this message is gonna be. So these are obstacles to overcome is our fourth card, and it is an 8 of Swords. Okay, and this one's not reversed, and it's a blindfolded and bound figure surrounded by danger. This difficult situation cannot be ignored. If bad news comes, face it squarely, even if there's nothing you can do. Wow.
Oh my God.
So, as we know, we are in a difficult situation in our world right now, and it is something we cannot ignore. We don't know much about COVID and how it works exactly. It seems to mutate and change more than we can keep up with the research and the antidote. And
100%. That is our obstacle. Absolutely.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, very, very strong. I can feel it. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. Yeah. Attitudes of others is the next card, and we have a major arcana card. So this one's gonna be the Tempress. It's linked with the sign of Sagittarius, the Archer. An angel pours liquid from one vessel into another, blending the essences. This card represents a mixing of elements within oneself and within relationships. Reach into the past for continuality that you can carry into the future. This auspicious card brings good health. Okay, so there's a couple of things that go on in this card. This is the attitudes of others, which we know that a lot of people have their opinions about COVID and what's the right thing to do, what's not the right thing to do. Everyone's been very opinionated. I know there are some strong feelings all over the social media and in society in general. So this is the mixing of elements from oneself within relationships. This basically is about how everyone has their own interpretation and opinion about it. Not one person is right or wrong about it because we don't know the complete and true story, but it basically says that it should bring good health. So we are hoping maybe, depending on how things go, that this could be a good good outcome. Basically what this card is telling us that so many mixed opinions are blending together, and it's causing a lot of friction and a lot of controversy.
Yeah, 100%. I just have to say, from like where we started with this reading to where we are now, like, I mean, the whole thing has been super relevant, but also I feel like we started like really dark, and we are slowly getting a little bit brighter here.
Yeah. I kind of figured that's how it was going to be, because once you get into reading, like, I don't know what it is, but when you kind of wave your hands over the cards, even the cards that aren't turned over yet, you feel the energies of them. So, like, I kind of knew the energies off the beginning of the spread. They were making my hands shake. I knew that was going to be some kind of, kind of like an ominous, like kind of scary, maybe not scary, but like a darker card. There is a feeling that you can feel from certain cards that that energy is going to be not as bright. But when you put your hands over other cards, you start to feel a different energy. There's a light to it.
The lightness. Yeah.
And I feel like that comes from when you become more bonded with your cards, is you can start to feel it. That's why I always kind of close my eyes, and before I lay out a spread or I pick a card, I feel the energy that's coming off that card.
What's the next one?
6. This is what the questioner should do. So this is like what the world should do at this point. Wow. I've never even gotten this card before, but it is a major arcana card too, and it is reversed. It's called the Wheel of Fortune. Fickle fate, a turn for the worse. Blind optimism can lead to failure. Oh, okay. Just when we thought I was getting kind of light, we kind of get this card, and this is what the questioner should do. And I feel like this card really kind of tells what's going on right now. I feel like a lot of people have, this optimistic view that if we open everything up, either A, we'll develop an immunity to the disease, to the virus, or, it'll slowly go away. But we have to revive the economy. That's the number one thing that's of importance right now. Jobs are limited right now because of essential and non-essential. But this card really gives off a strong energy, as in, this is a turn for the worse. Like, I have a feeling that this card really kind of tells us that the worst hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
That we might be in over our head when we think about the optimism of opening things up.
Right.
And I think that we're going to start to see that this could possibly be a lead to a second wave.
So, and so what I'm thinking, I agree with you. I feel like it's saying that. And so since it's like what came to me when you read it is that if we continue to be blindly optimist, then it will lead down this darker road. So we need to like kind of step back and like, reevaluate.
Exactly. And I think that the cards are really kind of telling you, like, this is not it's probably not the best thing to start opening the world back up again, because it's too soon. There's too many variables that we just don't understand. And, I understand that life has to move on, and, we have to, get back to a certain way of life. But I mean, it might be way too soon to try to do that right now. And this card,
yeah,
it's got an interesting energy on it. This whole reading has an interesting energy on it. I'm scared to pull over the outcome.
Oh God.
Oh, okay. So the 7th card is going to be the outcome.
We're at the outcome now. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We are at the outcome. Oh, wow. I've never gotten this card either.
When you make that oh noise, it makes me panic a little bit.
Don't panic. It's just I've never gotten this card before. It's not reversed. This card of perfect desolation. So the depiction on this card is a man or female being stabbed by 10 swords.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So 10 of Swords, major changes are on the way and resistance is futile. A path clears itself, giving way to something new.
That's not terrible.
No, it's not terrible because it doesn't mean that, necessarily a second wave is going to happen or, it doesn't necessarily mean a cure is going to happen, but it does say that things are going to change in a drastic way. So that's just really up to interpretation at this time. I know the Wheel of Fortune tells us that, prepare for failure and blind optimism is going to, lead us down. Basically what this whole reading is about, that we are, we either are A, taking things way too lightly, or B, we are, we're not really sure. Maybe we should trust in the system, and C, this is a torn reading, but it's an interesting reading. Honestly, there are 3 cards that really stick out to me in this reading. It's the Wheel of Fortune reverse, the 10 of Swords, and the Tower. And those really are some strong cards. Those were the ones that I was like, okay, the energy I'm feeling off of these is just incredibly strong. And if this is the message for us, it depicts what's going on perfectly in our world. But the last card, I really do like how it's not a negative card per se, but it does say that, drastic changes are afoot, which we've already seen happen. I mean, parks close, malls close, restaurants, 6 feet distance, always wear a mask when you walk out of your house. Those are drastic changes. And that could just mean what's happening right now, or it can mean that more drastic changes are coming our way.
You know what I got when you read it is that, because I think that there's really no way that we can completely go back to where we were before all of this. And so I think that I know it's not positive or negative, but I always go to positive. So I feel like the message is that we're going through a really fucking hard time right now. And that if we, kind of reevaluate where we're at and we proceed cautiously, that changes are going to happen. We can't resist these changes. However, it will end in a good way.
Exactly. That's definitely another way to look at it too. Like I said, positive, negative. I like how open-ended this card is because it's not doom and gloom like the first card or, Wheel of Fortune, but it's more like, drastic changes. We've already kind of went through them, and we know that life as we know it has changed forever. When things decide to open, people are going to be cautious about what they do, who they're around, what situations they put themselves into. It definitely changes our whole life, and different experiences are going to change too. Concerts are going to change, bars, restaurants, everywhere. There's going to be so many changes that we don't even see right now, but it's going to happen. So I like this card a lot because it's not negative, it's not positive, but it just kind of tells you that changes are coming. Exactly. And there's changes every day.
Yeah, it leaves it open for interpretation, and also based on our decisions.
Exactly. So it's really up to this whole situation is really up to us. Do you listen to stay at home order and you stay home and you practice social distancing and you wear your mask? Or do you decide, hey, I know what's best for me and I'll take the chance? It's really just kind of everything in life is really up to you. So
Yeah. And you know what is really great about this actually is that because of this situation or in this situation, I feel like a lot of people feel like they don't have control anymore. They don't have
mhm.
control over the situation. And so I feel like this reading is really like showing us that, sure, okay, you don't have control over like the overarching scenario here, but you do have control over your everyday decisions, and that actually will make a difference in the outcome.
I couldn't agree with you more. I feel like a lot of people, this is the time where, people who had everything under control, they knew how their life was, where it was going. Once that was just completely wiped away, they kind of started to lose it. And I think that with the social distancing and wearing a mask and things like that, and being told like so many people can go into a store, you really kind of start to have you have more of the control over your life than you think, because it's really up to you how you proceed in those situations. Do you want to take the risk of not being 6 feet away from someone and possibly contracting it? Do you not want to listen to wearing a mask and, again, contracting it? Do you want to take the risk and, throwing underground parties and getting busted or something like that? It's really up to you. You kind of start to learn how much power you really have. This is a time for you to kind of step back and realize, why did you need that place? Why are you so bent on having this place open? What purpose does it serve you that you need it so bad? I feel like this is a very self-awakening moment in life that we may never get again if you choose to look at it this way. You get to really kind of sit back, especially for people who are not working right now, who are, saying they're bored, or, they just don't understand why they have to follow these rules. Why do you need to be in these social situations so bad that you can't just sit still? And I feel like this is such a grateful time, if you see it that way, to really kind of reflect on yourself. Like, what's your purpose? What's your values? What's your beliefs? Find out more about yourself. And I'm starting to see that a lot of people are turning to self-love who didn't practice it before, because they're starting to see, okay, I can't see my friends, I can't see my family, I can't go to this bar, I can't do these things. What else do I have? You kind of have to turn to yourself. But I noticed a lot of people had a hard time with being alone, and it comes to a choice. Do you, accept being miserable in that situation, or do you take it and look at it as an opportunity to kind of reflect and love yourself more? And I feel like this is a time where self-love needs to reign supreme, because this is a time for you to really sit and reflect on who you are, what you believe in, what you stand for, and get in touch with who you are and the person you want to be after this.
100%. I completely agree. Completely. And I will say, because so I don't know about you actually, but I live alone and I am a very social person. So when we first went into lockdown, I'm not gonna lie, the first probably 2 weeks, I was pretty miserable and like I struggled. But then like I realized that, or reminded myself that every challenge, it really does present you with an opportunity. You just have to be willing to see that that opportunity is there. And granted, in this situation, because it is a crisis, I
Mhm.
feel like not everybody can be in a place where they're able to see that, and that's understandable. But if
Oh, yeah.
you if you do see that that opportunity is there, then take it. Take it. Like
Mhm.
I have been trying to use this time to to do exactly what you said, just love myself more, take care of myself more, become more self-aware, and really evaluate my life and figure out, like you said, why did I enjoy hanging out with these certain people, or why did I like doing this, like shopping, for example. Not gonna lie, I actually really miss shopping. Okay, I shouldn't have used a different example. But like, there are things in my life where I've been like, okay, I felt like I really needed this in my life. And, I realize now that I don't.
Yeah. And I feel like this time really is a nice reset for a lot of people. I know people are handling it in different ways. And like you said, being social, everything like that, that's going to be hard on someone who's used to having that social life. I know if I was a year ago, Crystal, she probably would be freaking out and be like, oh my God, I have to go sneak out and see my friends. But I also live alone. And I've been using this time to kind of go back to things that I used to enjoy or things that I've never tried before. I've been doing a lot more arts and crafts, getting in touch with myself that way. Just using that time to be a little bit more creative and let my creative juices flow because I'm in my house. I obviously, I do go outside for walks and things like that just to enjoy nature. But being home alone, yeah, I don't want to just sit and watch Netflix all day. And I kind of just had to look at different ways. And honestly, doing more art has helped me be more in touch with my creative side and understand, kind of go back to being a kid, like when you're a kid and you're only left with certain kind of toys, like before the internet, before TV, Netflix, all of that stuff, where you had to kind of create your own imagination and use your creativity. That's what I did during this time. I went back to that. So I started painting, I started crafting and DIYing a lot of stuff. And I always thought I was really bad at painting and things like that, but I super enjoy it. It's so peaceful. I'm really enjoying all the pieces I'm making. They might not be perfect, but nothing in life is perfect. And I'm enjoying this time of just learning new things about myself.
Absolutely. I love it. I think that those readings were absolutely amazing and like super relevant for both myself and for the global one. And I love the message in both of them. And yeah, just thank you so much for coming on and sharing that with us.
Of course. I had a great time doing it. And honestly, like, those readings were so strong. I just really liked the message that came from both of them. I was worried about the one about the world, but honestly, it was perfect. It resonated so well with what was going on, and it didn't leave a negative energy in that reading, which was really nice because I was worried that it was going to leave like a negative one. So I'm very happy that it kind of had a positive light at the end. And that's always good when your reading has a positive light where you can reflect on it and kind of have like an open-ended end to a reading.
Yes, definitely. I completely agree. That was amazing. Can you just quickly share your socials for people to come check you out in whatever you are doing, your coaching, your tarot? Do you post like Instagram pictures of your tarots?
I do on my stories. So I usually post the one that I pull in the morning, and if I do a spread, I'll post that too. Yeah, so if you want to follow the tarot reading and that journey, the spiritual, my crystals, everything like that, that account is Grateful Girl 30, and that's where I'll do most of my tarot readings. My coaching one is Crystal Dawn Co. That's where I'll be posting more about mindset, self-love, and confidence. And you can definitely check out that.
And I will link them both below. And also, are you still doing your YouTube?
I took a break from YouTube a long time ago. I told myself I was going to get back into it, but I'm just not sure if it aligns with what I want to do with my coaching. I do have other things I'm working on, and that's the new launch that's coming out soon. And I'm so excited for that because it's just something new that I haven't done before. And I am excited to see what people are going to think about it because it's just a whole new world for me, and I love change. I embrace it, and I'm excited to see if other people embrace it too.
I am super excited about your very mysterious launch. Make sure you go follow Crystal so that you can find out about this launch when it happens. Well, thank you so much for coming on yet again.
Always a pleasure.
I was just going to say, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Okay, well, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed that. Talk about intense at the end of the global reading, right? Come visit me on Instagram at Jessica Rose Wellness Co. and let me know if anything came up for you during the readings and if you've been inspired to try tarot out for yourself. With that, I hope that you have a wonderful week and I will talk to you next time. Bye.